gotta cut some meat. In order to dry the meat, we gotta cut it up in strips. That's what we're gonna do now. This is bottom round, the leanest part mostly. And I'm gonna be using a brand new Cutco knife. It's really sharp, first time using it. So I'm gonna go kind of slow. And I'm gonna put it in time lapse. So the cool thing is I got a wind up clock here, so you can see how much time it takes in real time. But I'm gonna go slow. I'm warning you now, it could take 30 seconds, up to 60 seconds. Even maybe more, slightly. The time lapse goes fast and so it won't be boring. Okay, let's go. Okay, now let's go hang the meat. Let it dry. Okay, we're ready to put on the fresh meat, the stuff we just cut. So I'll put it on time lapse and try not to be boring. All right, it's time to grind up the meat. It's a kind of a long process. I'll put it on time lapse, but this stuff here is really dry. It's gonna grind up real easy. And this stuff, it's pretty dry. Dry enough. So we'll put it on time lapse because it's a long process, and I'll do some computer work, I'll eat, I'll do some other stuff, and but I'll keep it going. And then I have to, about every 45 minutes, half hour or whatever, I gotta clean it, and because it gets plugged up, it just, that's what happens. But we gotta turn that meat into like a powder, so it'll mix up good with the rendered fat, and but that's the next video. All right, here we go. We're gonna mix up the rendered fat with the powdered up, ground up lean beef that we did. And we're gonna first measure out that we got 1 pound, because we're gonna mix it 50-50. So 1 pound of powdered meat and 1 pound of rendered fat. We warmed it up, it's in here. So what we're gonna do, we'll measure it. So first I'll measure the container and then zero it out, and then to make sure that we got 1 pound. I pre-measured it before, but anyway, so we got 1 pound. We'll set this aside, and we're gonna measure now 1 pound of rendered fat. So first of all, clear this out. Okay, that's the weight of this before we do it. I'm gonna zero it out and now pour in 1 pound. Bingo. 1.01, I think it's close enough. So this is warm. The liquid's warm. So I'm gonna dump in the powdered meat, and I'll mix it up with my hands, and then we'll have pemmican. So you can mix pemmican just about any ratio you want to, but I've found that 50-50 is about how it mixes up just naturally. It'll become gooey until it cools off. We'll let it cool. We'll pour it into a container first. So we got 2 pounds of pemmican. I like to put it into 1 pound containers, and that way I know how much I'm eating or whatever. But it's nice and warm, and just mix it up. Make sure it's all, everywhere is mixed up. And when it's warm like this, it seems to mix, it's so much easier. I mean, it's about the only way to go. I'm sure this is the way the indigenous people, well, without the glass bowl, but this is how they did it. And like I say, it'll be just kind of natural. So I heated up the rendered fat a little bit more on these last 2 batches, and it just pours easier and fills up the cup better. So I'll do that now. Let them cool down and put a cover on them, and they'll be good for 20, 50 years. Of course, this is pretty much my own supply, so I eat it, not daily, but most days. And it just keeps me from, the cravings of all that sugar stuff that's out there. Okay. So let's try out some pemmican. So I used to do colloidal silver, made my own even. And I got to thinking one day, people used to eat with silver spoons and silver forks and knives and everything, real silver. Sterling silver, like this is. I don't know if you can see that, but it's sterling silver. And kind of expensive, but I'm thinking maybe I'm getting a touch of colloidal silver, or I don't know. I think there might be something to it. But anyway, let's try some pemmican, because this is the fresh batch that we just made. And I gotta tell you, it's always satisfying, satiating. I get a full feeling from it, not like most foods, but and also it like coats the mouth. It leaves this film, or this kind of, because of the fat content in it. It's really fat. But I think it may be, I might be reading too much into this, but I think it makes me less dehydrated, and I don't get dehydrated as often or whatever. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's just good all around. It's the most nutrient-dense food since mother's milk. I don't know. That's just a saying Barefoot John, Grandpa John has. I don't know where I came up with it. Somewhere in here. Well, on to the next video.